daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Daily Manchester United. It's Friday, you made it. Well done you. And your reward for that is a preview episode for our upcoming game against Brentford. Niall and I on yesterday's episode were talking about previous results against Brentford, which in, I believe, 21 appearances in all competitions, United have won 11 of those games. So, yeah, if we forget the 4-0 drubbing we had under Ten Hag and we ignore the 4-3 we had towards the end of last season against Brentford, both losses, if you hadn't figured that out already, then the record is not too bad. Not too bad indeed. Now, this will probably be our I think it's either our 8th or 9th game against Brentford in the Premier League, in the modern Premier League era. I always have to get that stipulation in. And you can watch the game on Saturday. It's the early kickoff on TNT Sports 1, 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. So make sure it doesn't catch you out. What it does mean is you'll be able to watch the game. Yay! Instead of it being behind a 3 p.m. curfew if you're in the UK. Again, I don't get... Look, that's an entirely different episode. We could talk about that then and then. According to Bet365, 4 of the last 5 games involving Manchester United have had at least 2.5 goals scored, which is a pretty interesting stat. Does mean that either we're scoring a lot or we're conceding a lot. You know, reference the City game. But obviously, we're coming into this in a little bit of form, back-to-back home wins in the Premier League for the first time under Ruben Amorim. A win under Chelsea might spur us on, but if there's anything to be learned from last season is, form can be a little bit misleading sometimes in this Manchester United side, which is bizarre to say, but it is. It is true, unfortunately. And there is one player who has been injured, pulled out of the international break, if you remember, a few weeks ago, in fact, Diogo Dalot. And it's reported by Adam Marshall on the Tuesday, that's the 23rd of September, as you're listening to this, that he's returned to full training with Manchester United squad at Carrington. So we will see what he can do. According to Adam Marshall, he says that the absence came after he'd supplied an excellent assist at his last outing for the Reds for Brian Mbeumo during the 3-2 win over Burnley at Old Trafford. Yeah, hopefully he's in the squad. We haven't had the sort of press conference yet. Obviously, we filmed these preview episodes a little bit before, but hey-ho, we'll see. Which makes it all the more fun, because at the moment, I don't know who's going to be in the squad, who isn't, which will be fun, I think. And we'll come on to sort of a predicted 11. Probably head and heart is probably what we'll have to do in those segments, because I have to wheel out an 11 I'd like to see, and then an 11 that will probably happen. Again, it's all the more content for you to enjoy. You see, don't say I don't think about you guys. I do. I very much do. So let's get right down to the picture then. Who are going to be the sort of ones to watch in the Brentford side? Well, Mikkel Damsgaard is probably going to be one to watch. He scored, I believe, in his last match. So he's always going to be one to watch, isn't he? Is Damsgaard, a very good midfielder for that Brentford team, and has been a mainstay, really, for the Brentford side. So it makes a lot of sense. Though they did lose 3-1 to Fulham, they sort of slightly fell apart, didn't they, against Fulham, which was encouraging to see. Damsgaard actually got the opener in the opening 20 minutes of the game before a quick-fire double from Iwobi and Wilson made them 2-1 behind, and then Ethan Pinnock unfortunately put it into the back of his own net. So, yeah, they're coming off a loss. We're coming off a win. We all know what that means. It's going to be a much closer game than we ever expected it to be. Just seems to be the way recently. But again, I just think you've got some good players in there. Damsgaard in there. I think Kevin Schade as well. He's probably going to be one to watch this season. He's only got a goal. I say only got a goal. Now I've done it. Now he's going to score a hatful. But he's got the 1 goal in the Premier League in 5 appearances, 1 off the bench. But again, still could be an interesting one. And there's the interesting one about Igor Thiago. Now, Thiago was a signing, and I'm happy to be correct if I'm wrong, in the 24-25 summer transfer window. then got a major injury that ruled him out for a good portion of the season. It may well have been the winter, but in any case, him coming back into the lineup for the start of Brentford's season almost feels like their new summer signing. And in 5 appearances in the Premier League, he's scored twice at the moment, one from the spot and one with a header. So again, probably going to be one of the danger men to watch. I think Kieran Kelleher, obviously ex-Liverpool player, is a fantastic shot stopper. I think Brentford have done a really good job in signing him and giving him that starting lineup in Brentford. I think he's going to be a difficult keeper to beat if he's not already rivaling that number 1 shirt for the Ireland national team alongside himself and Gavin Bazunu. I fail to see how he can't, fast track his international career even further. I mean, he's made 25 caps for the Ireland national team, so it makes sense. Good goalkeeper. And I think he'll put out a blinder, obviously. He's coming up against Manchester United. He'll have that Liverpool rivalry in him. Expect him to get a little bit of booze whenever he's on the ball. But that's because you're a Liverpool player. You were, Kevin. So, it's to be expected. Nat Collins as well at the back for Brentford. Yeah, he's got an assist from centre-back as well. So definitely one to watch from that one. And Brentford lined up with a 5-man defence as well, but it's more of a 5-3-2 in that sense. But yeah, Coyote on the right, Lewis Potter on the left. If they're both starting, they'll be dangerous on those sort of wing-back positions and helping the likes of Yarmoliuk and Damsgaard in the middle of the park. Henderson, yeah, interesting to see him back in the Premier League. Obviously a very experienced player to have in the side. We'll wait to see what he can do. He's obviously a good Premier League player, so never underestimate him. I'm not going to underestimate him. And yeah, that's that. So a couple of players to pick out there from Brentford's side. And Brentford at the moment in the Premier League table lie 17th. They picked up 4 points from 5 games so far this season, which is a little surprising. Obviously, I was a bit worried about Brentford coming into this. They lost Thomas Frank. Obviously, he went to Tottenham. They'd obviously still were sort of dealing with Ivan Toney, but they've lost Brian and Burmo. They lost quite a few players, actually, in their lineup in the sort of turnover of this season. And in doing so, just having a quick look at the Premier League table, they've scored 6 goals in the Premier League so far this season, but conceded 10. And just having a look around for teams conceding more than Brentford, only 2 teams have conceded more than Brentford in the Premier League. That's West Ham on 13 and Wolves on 12. And they're West Ham 19th and Wolves 20th. So, yeah, it seems like that is their weakness defensively. However, we always can make a meal of matches. You know us now. You know this club by now. If you've watched along for at least half a season, you'll know that there are games we make difficult that probably shouldn't be that difficult. However, it's a good chance for top of the XG table, maybe not so much anymore, Manchester United to finally get some goals, really rack up some goals in this match. But again, don't go into it with, eyes lit up thinking this is going to be an easy game. Of course it's not. Keith Andrews, the Brentford manager, is, a promotion from within, which is always good to see at a club. It's a well-run club, so I'm not going to underestimate them for 1 second, and neither should you. And when I come back after this break, I'll be talking more about, again, how do I see Manchester United line up in the game, probably versus how I think Ruben Amorim will actually line up the squad. It's a head versus heart team lineup, and I'll be back with it after this.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionique. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you. right now.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
A couple of players then we know won't be in the side. We know Casemiro, with his sending off against Chelsea, is suspended for this next match against Brentford, so he is out of it completely. Now, I might like or might not like where that might be going in the centre of the park. We also know that Martinez Licha still out with that cruciate ligament injury. There's doubts over Dalot. We'll see what happens, whether Amorim will pick him for this or wait until next week's time. We shall wait and see. However, for the purpose of this, I'm probably not going to include Dalot. Fast forward to 24 hours later when Dalot's fit, and fast forward to 48 hours later when he was picked. You know what? Look, all I'll say is it would be funny if it happened, wouldn't it? That's why it's gonna happen now. I can feel it. You can sense, you can feel something. Anyway, I think goalkeeper, head versus heart. Heart tells me send Lemon. I would like to see him start. This seems like a good environment to start him in. Obviously, it's not a home game, which is normally when you'd probably like to make your debut, or at least as a player, make your debut. But send Lemon. We've signed him. Tom Heaton says he's a good lad. Make of that what you will. He led with that. Make of that what you will. But the only way we're going to find out what he's like is if he starts. So I think the heart tells me send Lemon to start. The head, I think Amorim's going to stick with Altai going into this one. He's already backed him publicly, has Ruben Amorim. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Altai starting in this match. Back three then, I think. Now, it all depends, of course, if Dalot's fit to start the match. If he's not fit, I probably think it's going to be a back three. I would like it to be Yoro, De Ligt, Maguire. How I think it will be is Yoro, De Ligt, Shaw. Which I'm not convinced by Luke Shaw. I mean, he did a fantastic job coming up against Chelsea. He managed to get himself rising the highest. It somehow didn't get the ball. The assist went to Maguire in the end. However, we'll see. We'll see. I would prefer Maguire to be starting in that one. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see Luke Shaw start in that centre-back position instead of Maguire. And if that means then Dalot isn't fit to start, then it would be probably Mazraoui at the right wing-back, Dorgu at the left wing-back. I think those are pretty much nailed on as well as in the middle of the park as well. Bruno Fernandes to start in that deeper lying playmaker role, which has been sparking a good amount of debate in the comments. Keep it up as well. Is it a position that you think Bruno, it suits him, or perhaps you'd like to see him further up the pitch? Let us know down in the comments below where you think Bruno should be starting. Regardless, I think he'll be starting deeper. Amorim's made it clear that that's where he sees him in his system, and I think he'll start alongside Agate. Agate's been sort of that understudy to Casemiro, and whilst he didn't really necessarily have a bad game, I think it was a couple of games ago, it might have been against Chelsea actually, he didn't have the worst game in the world, but I think with Casemiro suspended, I think there's no real solid option other than Agate to start in that middle of the park in that destroyer role. Could Kobbie Mainoo start? Probably not alongside Fernandes, but hey, let's see. Hey, I would expect Mainoo to be fighting in and amongst those positions. But if he's already, if he's asked to go out on loan on deadline day and that game time still hasn't approached yet, watch this space come January. Unfortunately, that's all I have to say on it. Two attacking midfielders. Again, these next three positions seem nailed on. And Mbeumo and Cunha. If Cunha is fit, which I think he will be for this match, he's going to be starting. Those two have been great. And Mbeumo, coming up against his former club, will there be boos? Probably, but that's fine. And Mbeumo notching up 20 goals last season for Brentford. Yeah, it'll be weird to see him go back. He knows how to score against United, so let's hope he knows how to score against Brentford. That's how this works, isn't it? That's surely. Anyway, he'll start alongside Cunha, I reckon. And I think Šeško will start up top. I've taken him. He's on the bench on my fantasy. Niall says to take him out completely. I'll probably take him out completely if he doesn't score in this match, as a sort of last roll of the dice to say, look, now he's completely out of my team. Now go get the hatful of goals. You see, the things I do for this team, I sacrifice my own fantasy team. Hey, hey, what can I say? The other thing is Xerxes. Now, we've seen Xerxes come on and play in that sort of attacking midfield role. He came on when Cunha was injured. I think he does it okay. We'll see if he does make an appearance at Brentford. I don't think he'll be starting, but I think if Šeško doesn't start scoring soon, I think Xerxes might be sort of rotated in starting in that striker position. But we'll wait and see. I think there's a lot of faith in Šeško. I think there has to be a lot of faith with the big price tag. He's got to be starting and scoring sooner rather than later. Otherwise, serious questions are going to be asked. And no one likes a serious question. We like light-hearted questions, like how many will he score? Not please score. And, let's see what he can do from there. Anyway, score predictions. I think, what am I going to do? Head versus heart. Yeah, this is going to be the tricky one. I think Hart would love to see a clean sheet. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I think it's really a we'll score one more than you, or we'll try and score one more than you kind of tactic. I'll go 2-1 United. I think that's fair. I think we'll come away with 3 points. What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. Start a conversation with us. Let's get your score predictions in. Perhaps as well, the predicted 11 wasn't to your taste. Is there someone that definitely should be in the squad? And you're going to scream it out saying, how could you forget so-and-so? Well, let me know. Down there, give us your predicted 11s. Give us your players you want to see starting and in those positions. Would love to have a chat with you about it. And give us your score predictions down below as well. Don't be shy unless you're predicting a loss. Then you could sort of hide behind a curtain and say, it might be 1-0 Brentford, and you can disappear forever. That's fine. We welcome that. In the meantime, if you are listening to us on Apple or Spotify, don't forget as well to make sure you follow the pod so that you get the push notifications when we go live. We're aiming to have an episode after full time on Saturday, so make sure you are subscribed on both platforms, or just the one if you prefer, to make sure you get the push notification that the episode has gone live. And if you are listening to our podcast as well, don't forget you can watch our podcast. It's at GSPN Daily Man United Podcast over on YouTube. It's such a long channel name, so you have to remember it. It's a catchy slogan. It will catch on, I promise. If you're of the volition of chatting to us on social media, I've already said about predicted 11s and maybe score predictions as well. Do it all over on social media. It's at GSPN Man United, and we're on Twitter and X, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and we're on Facebook. Start a conversation. We'd love to chat to you about, well, anything Manchester United, really. One of us will surely come back to you. And of course, here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we couldn't be here and bringing you these episodes without our partners at Zencastr, because here at GSPN, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform, and Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that can remove all of those ums and ahs and maybe particular words if you really want to, it makes it super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. So if that sounds like that's right up your street, make sure you check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. Big thank you to our partners and sponsors here at the Daily Manchester United. And of course, a big thank you to you for listening and watching. We'll be back, hopefully, after full time with a big happy smile on our faces. If not, then you'll probably watch us anyway, won't you? Come on then. Let's get it done. Away at Brentford, 12:30 kickoff, TNT Sports 1. If you are watching in the UK, don't forget it's the 12:30 kickoff. And let's hope it's a win. Let's will the win into victory, into existence. That's the word I was looking for. Anyway, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you after full time. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend, and we'll chat soon.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.